Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I cannot believe that the time has finally come for me to do this video. I have seen this sort of video tag for years on YouTube and finally it's my turn. So as you can see by the title, I'm turning 30. And in this video, I'm going to be doing not only the things that I wish I would have been able to maybe go back in time and told my 20-year-old self, things that I would have changed about what I did in the past decade, but also I'm going to be talking about the things that I'm really happy that I did. Alright, so as I start out here, I am going to be going between the things that I'm really happy that I did and the things that I wish I would have learned. That way it's kind of evenly balanced. So the first thing that I wrote down, and I guess the whole first category, which maybe sounds superficial, but it's going to be sort of shopping related things. The second category is going to be sort of beauty and personal health related things. And then finally, the third category is going to be career and life path things. So the first thing that I am really happy that I did in my 20s is I invested in jewelry. It sounds like kind of a weird one. For me, jewelry has always been a very big part of my life, and I knew that early on, but I also think that even if jewelry is not a big part of your life, it is a good investment. It's something that stays forever. The kind of trends don't change very often in jewelry, so if you do fall in love with a piece of fine jewelry that's very expensive in your 20s, likely by the time you're in your 30s, that piece will still, one, have a lot of meaning to you, but two, it might still be in style. Just jewelry trends in general, they don't change very often. So that's something I'm really happy that I did. I knew that jewelry was going to kind of last me for a long time, and I would ask for jewelry for a lot of gifts when I could, and I have all those pieces and I love them all absolutely to this day. The flip side of that is that one thing that was a big waste of money that I spent, I guess, a lot of my own money, and also, again, I asked for a lot of gifts like this in my 20s. Big waste. I can't believe I'm saying this. Designer handbags and shoes. As hot and exciting as they are in the moment, my God, they go out of style. And it took me years to realize this because I think that the kind of lifespan of a really nice designer bag, unless it's like, you know, a classic two-flap Chanel or an Hermes bag, the lifespan of even the kind of cult classic bags is just about 3 years, give or take, 2 to 3 years, something like that. And these are for really the like timeless bags even. I'm not talking about the super trendy bags, like even the timeless designer bags, they will kind of be in style, be on vogue for 3 years. And it took me years to realize this because when I was accumulating my new bags and my new shoes, which were a little bit less, I collected more bags than shoes, I finally came to a point, I would say in the last year, when some of the original bags that I got that I was sure wouldn't go out of style have gone out of style and I don't want to wear them anymore. And they're incredibly expensive. The resale value of them has gone down. And I think I would have gone back to myself and said, hey, don't ask for this bag, or don't invest your money, don't invest all that into this bag. Maybe go for jewelry. Like I just said, more jewelry, just kind of pile it on. I think that would definitely be a big learning. I actually could do a whole separate video on ranking all my designer bags, and also I could do a ranking my jewelry video separately. And I could kind of talk to you about, you know, the resale value and what my plans are for them. I have never sold a bag. I'm attached to them. Anyway, whatever. This is getting long. That is definitely the first thing that I would do differently. Okay, so the second whole category has a few things in it, and that is kind of beauty related and lifestyle related. So the first thing that I am really happy that I did in my 20s and that I started in my 20s is really taking care of my physical self. So I would drink a lot of water, I would eat really healthy foods, I started working out very regularly in my 20s, going to the gym or working out in some way, I would say 5 times a week, which I still try and do to this day. And I think that is something that has really created a good habit for me, and the younger that you can start that, I think the better. I'm really happy with it. It's just become such a normal part of my life to eat a certain way, and like I said, drink lots of water, and it makes me feel really good, makes me feel just vibrant and energized, and I'm really happy that I started that pretty young. I think, you know, right after college I started that, so when I was about 21, 22 years old. The flip side of that is I did not take care of my hair in the past decade. And this is something I think a lot of young women fall into, especially because hair color trends are constantly changing. But I mean, I took this hair and I put it through pure silver. I dyed it purple myself a couple of times, purplish, a couple of times using Manic Panic. I did tons, and I still do, tons of heat treatments on it. I was not paying attention to it. I wasn't doing hair masks. I wasn't doing anything. Maybe younger people today are taking better care of their hair than I was, but I really wish I would have prioritized that younger and started building good hair habits, because that's something that has kind of come and bitten me a few times over the years. Just my hair with all the bleaching and all the heat treatments. It is very damaged. I wish it were healthier and longer and stronger, but here we are. I can start now, and I have started in the last 6 months, but I wish I would have started 6 years ago. The next one from there that I'm happy that I did is I'm really happy that I stayed out of the sun. I've always liked the look of a glowing tan, but I've always gotten it from fake tanning mousses for the most part. When I was in high school, I did like real old school spray tans where you go into the booth and they just spray you. That was kind of a disaster, but from there I graduated to just doing my own tans once a week. Bronzer on my face, makeup to kind of match my tanned body to my face. I really tried to keep as much as possible, especially my face, my neck, my décolleté, out of the sun. That is something that has really, really benefited me. I've seen that people much, much younger than me who have spent so much time in the sun, their skin is very damaged. They've got tons of fine lines and stuff like that. I have never had to do any kind of Botox or anything, and like I don't have any wrinkles on my forehead. I do when I smile, but I think that that's natural. I don't care about that. Anyway, so I'm really, really happy about that. I'm happy that I took the time out of the sun in my 20s. Still within health, but kind of pivoting towards mental health, that kind of thing. One thing that I did not do very well in my 20s is I really did not prioritize my mental health. I started going again to see like a therapist, psychiatrist person about 1.5 years ago when quarantine and COVID first started. That was really important to me, but I realized what a huge help it is in general, and I wish that I could have gone back in time and told my younger self, like, really make this a priority, try and do meditation, try and be introspective, understand what is making you feel emotional or bad or triggering you in any way. I don't know, I think that that would have been really important for me. This one is random. The next one that I'm really happy that I did in my 20s is I'm happy that I partied. And this might be weird because I've just talked about like mental health and how happy I am that I took care of my body and my skin and all these things. I am so happy that I literally partied so hard in my 20s. I was going out constantly. This might be bad advice, but I was going out constantly. I was really, really partying. I was drinking a lot. It never got like out of hand. It never like carried over to my day-to-day life. It was really just part of my going out life. I am fortunate for that, but I'm happy that I did it then because I can't drink at all anymore. Literally, if I have more than one drink of anything, like maybe 2, I am ruined the next day. And it's not that I'm like traditionally hungover because I do drink a lot of water while I'm having my alcohol. So it's not like I'm dehydrated and groggy and I have a headache. It's more that I'm completely depressed. And I don't know if it's just me, but like I become depressed. It's so crazy. So I'm really happy that I got a lot of partying out of my system as much as possible out in my 20s because it's just like not really as possible right now, which is very scary. Very, very scary. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. And when I used to hear other people saying that, I used to always think, oh, that won't be me. Here we are. All right, and the final category of things that I'm going to be talking about is kind of lifestyle and career related things. So the first thing that I'm really happy that I did is I did not get bogged down on a specific career path. I didn't go specifically in any one direction with the intention of meeting this, big insane goal in 20 years. I never had that, and I actually think that it really benefited me because I know for a fact if I would have gone down some strict and narrow path, I would have absolutely changed it 1,000,000 times, and it might have actually taken me even longer to get to where I am now. Now, where am I? I have no idea. But that's also kind of how I've always lived my life. Like, I've never known where I am, but I'm always happy to be there, and that's something that I'm really glad that I kind of allowed myself to start doing in my 20s because it is really core to who I am as a person. It's a kind of like flexibility that I'm really happy that I gave myself in my 20s. Counter to that is that as sort of flexible that I was with my life, I was also very anxious, and I didn't go out and I wasn't as social, and I didn't see people as often enough as I should have, because I had, and I do still sort of have, a kind of social anxiety where obviously I want to be social, I want to go party, but when push comes to shove, I kind of like being home, and I actually wish that I would have gotten past that earlier and just done more and been with more people and just that kind of thing. Like just going out regularly, day to day. Like someone calls you up and they're like, oh, you know, I'm all the way downtown. Do you want to meet up for a drink? I should have just been like, yes. But honestly, more often than not, I would probably have made up an excuse. So I wish I could go back to myself in my 20s and said, just like freaking go. It's fun. It's your life. Just go. So that's something that I would definitely have done differently. The next thing that I'm really happy that I did is I traveled a lot. And I don't just mean on vacation, but I actually moved my entire life a few times. I was on Long Island for college, but then I moved to New York City. Then I moved to London. Then I moved back to New York City. Now I'm in Florida. I've given myself the opportunity to physically relocate. And I think that that's huge, because once you start to have kind of more adult responsibilities, more adult, you know, like payments and bills and a family, for example, other things that take your time, your money, your energy, you won't have that opportunity anymore. And it's been really important for me to kind of understand myself in different environments. It's been really a learning experience for me, and it's really taught me where I want to be, and that's huge. Counter to that though, the thing that I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have traveled more to see family. And I'm saying this now also as a reminder to this next decade of myself. I really, really want to travel more to see family. I've got a brother in San Francisco. He's got 2 kids now. He's got this sweet baby who I actually haven't met because she was born right in the beginning of COVID, and it's been kind of hectic, but I can't wait to go see her. And I should have just gone more down to visit him. He's been all over, but why not just travel and visit family? Now I'm in Florida, so I've got a sister in New York. I should just go and visit her. I've got a brother in New York. Same thing. I should just go and visit him. My dad is in France. Why am I not traveling to France all the time? I don't know. I think I'm not prioritizing kind of the money that it takes to travel, which is ridiculous. That it makes no sense. Money aside, these experiences are so important. And as I've been really reflecting on my last decade and what I want in the next one, I think that's something that I really do need to understand, is like money, when it comes to experiences, should not be hoarded. It should not be spent on luxury bags and shoes, because that's a waste, but it should be spent on memories and travels and experiences. So I think that I am actually going to kind of end this video there. I think that that's a good ending point. And I don't know, I'd really appreciate it if you did make it this far along the way. If you did have a big decade-changing birthday, please let me know if you've kind of done the same thing that I'm doing now, which is really being, I don't know, introspective and really kind of going within yourself. Let me know some things that maybe you would have told your past self, if you're older than 30, if you're younger, anything. I appreciate it. Anyway, give me a comment if you want. Thumbs up the video, it means a lot. And subscribe if you're new. With that, I'll see you guys in the next video.